This is day 527 of Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you'd like to sponsor a coming share or more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please contact me directly. It would be very greatly appreciated. Today we're doing Siman Shin Yutes still, Lamed Gimel through Mem Beis, which actually will bring us to the end of the Siman. Okay. It's not called borer, except when you're borer, and we're talking about beverages yesterday, and then afterwards you drink. Well, actually, we're not talking about yesterday's case. Take that back. It's only called borer when you borer, and then whatever you borer, you're drinking. But if while you're drinking, you grit your teeth or something, so the refuse doesn't enter your mouth, that's not called borer. Rabbi says never writes a man shishman toloin, water which has worms, other bugs. You're even allowed to put a cloth in your mouth on Shabbos. It's not relevant to call it selecting or sifting, unless when you are fixing the thing before eating or drinking. But at the time that you're drinking, but if at that time you're drinking makevas absolus, you impede the refuse. That shouldn't go into your mouth. That's not akin to the malacha. It's permissible akal shona. Also, it's not relevant. Even though you're sifting through a cloth in your mouth, there's no malabing, there's no bleaching, in other words, laundering. But my with a small amount of water in a garment which doesn't have any dirt on it, which has have no siman shin base. But those who also there, even a small garment, even a little bit of water, also this would be also as well. That's by water. But other beverages, there is no such thing as laundering, as we saw. Also by water. If you lie in the opinion there with a little bit of water and a clean garment, there's no mulaben, you didn't lose. Mishnah Berurah is a little bit more machmir. It says only you can make as long as they're in mind, of course, to do laundry. But back to Arukh HaShulchan, this is the base Yosef here is mat here, so therefore you don't lose. In other words, Arukh HaShulchan is more lenient in doing this. So if you're drinking water in New York City and you're afraid wasn't pre-filtered, you filter it in your mouth. There's a paper filter where there's no malabin for sure. But ordinarily, it seems to me the bezeh gam der achroina should be mutar, even according to the second meaning there, which answers is mutar here. Does that make it derech lichluch? By us, it's not called water; it's called dirty. It's known that if you drink in this manner, there's going to be junk on the inner side of the cloth. However, when flies fall into a cup, this is in a regular cup, and they do what we're just talking about. You don't take out the flies by themselves. I feel even when you're drinking, you can take a little bit of beverage. That's custom. So to all types of refuse. Which you toss out when you're eating or drinking. You just came out ochlim, you should toss them out with a bit of the food, and a bit of the beverage. It's the vessel with which you pour from the barrel. You should not put in its mouth straws or reeds in a way which they're strongly embedded there. There's no greater strainer than that. This happens occasionally with teapots, where there's a little strainer as the tea goes out. But it says Gimel. I wonder if he's going to bring that down. Not sure. You show love they asked upon it. The Gemara you should not put a some sort of filter in the opening of some sort of jug because it looks like a strainer. It's not really a strainer because the dregs pass through. But since there are twigs, a little bit of refuse that don't pass through, it's like a strainer. How do you write that there is no greater misnenes than kasher kismin if, in the case which the Ran is discussing, it's not necessarily so prohibited. It's preferable. I guess it may be at least at best it's the Rabbanan. But tzarich, well, he's not sure. Rashi Pirish Sham Lefisha Encham says the Rashi also uses the same language. He said tzarich Magav Shlo Hikers Bezeh. That's the brackets. But really it's not difficult. The Mishmeres who kli asur l'shamer. And Mishmeres is a kli which is made to strain. The Zeu shows Sashas Mechse a kikeli asur l'shamer. It's also because it looks like a keli which is made for Mishamer. We're in a kli asur Mishamer, but it's not a strainer. Aval etzem adin is the sina elcham says glo mizu. But you can't use it. No, there's no in terms of the din. There's no greater misnenes than this. In other words, it's osir and it sounds like it's as also as Mishmeres. Mishmeres says it's not as also as Mishmeres. It's just similar to Mishmeres. I'm not sure Zayin Afchina. Don't use it. Lamei mutaleros benachas mikli chaver, allowed to pour gently from one vessel to another. As long as you're careful when the flow stops, and little drops start flow coming down. Hani shofos, which are I guess. Drip out chrona at the end. Mitoch apsolis out of the refuse, just out of the bottom of the first vessel. Yafsik, stop. And you're trying to leave the last few drops with like the tea leaves at the bottom. V'chein k'shisosim teo kaveh. Then you drink tea or coffee. And the sharp apsolis lamata. The refuse stays in the bottom. Don't pour right up to the refuse. Because if you don't stop before you get there, for these drops with these refuse, it's clear that it's borer. But if the refuse is not recognizable, that's not considered to be borer. But interestingly, at the time we drink from a cup, there's no problem. The kshem shekaimon, just like we hold. Bar ochel topsos ochel va'ochel. You can be bar ochel the psolos and eat the derech achila bakach. That's the derech achila. Hani achinami derech shti bakach. So too, that's where you drink. If you're not drinking yourself, it's pouring from a vessel, but the vessel. Tzarich lizar bakach. You have to be careful about this. So too with beer and other types of beverage. At the time of drinking, you don't have to be concerned. Only when you're pouring, not at the time of drinking, you have to be careful. So if you're drinking Turkish coffee and there's sediment at the bottom, you can drink up to the sediment mamish. You don't have to be concerned with any drops which are going to be selected out of the sediment. If you have fat which is floating on a cooked dish. For you want to remove the fat and eat the cooked dish. You can't pour off altogether. Because it's two types and there's brera. And the cooked dish that you want to eat immediately is called ocha. And the fat which you want to leave, it's called refuse. And it's a brera. So you shouldn't take away all the fat. Leave a little bit with the cooked dish. If you have milk, which is standing in a vessel, and on top is the fatty part of the milk. Zoyer milk, and we know that is sour milk, which I guess you left it there for a while. It's one min. It's borer. Lebrera. The brera is not relevant to this, but the Mishnah Berurah argues and he says that this also has brera. But if we do consider them, like the Mishnah Berurah says, to be two types, and you're not going to eat them together, you have to leave some of the fat on top with the sour milk. And you're not allowed to catch even a bit of the smenta, which I guess is some of the milk fat, which you would turn into butter or something, unless you need to eat on Shabbos. The answer with Shabbos, if you don't eat for Shabbos, you can't deal with it on Shabbos, preparation for weekday. If there's going to be a loss, Yasa de any Yehudi using non-Jew. Lamed Zayin. Umutzah Bi Achabis Aliz Davar K'dei Shekach Meno Hayayin Heitev. You're allowed to pick up a barrel on some sort of object in order that it should pour, for the wine should pour well. I guess it's like a fulcrum, but the barrel's like the lever. Even though this way the wine is going to come outside of the dregs, it's not considered bora. Until drops start coming out of the dregs. Much as we explained. Put water on top of dregs, which are on a barrel, so that you get absorb the taste of wine. Famous said Mishum Bora, there's no Bora involved. Vachi, you stand mehem, but Bayom is always to drink that day. Thus, you truck with Shabbos, much ain't so good Shabbos, not because of Bora, but because you can't do a tircha on Shabbos, which you're not going to use until after Shabbos. Vamaches, Hachardo, Shakurim Zenpet. I assume it's mustard, but not sure. I mean, that's a smart chadal usually is. It's not complete refuge. I'm saying yes, there's a little bit refuge there, but it's not absolute refuge. They're also suitable to eat. But and they had a sieve with which they used to sift the mustard. So even though there is no bread because of both ochel, nevertheless, looks like you are sifting the food out of the refuse. Sorry, I'm distracted for a minute. For they had a sieve with which they used to sift the mustard. Even when no bread, because ochel mikam rabban us never it's awesome rabbanon. Since it looks like you're being borrowed the food from the refuse. Since that other secondary food you toss away. They also used to fix eggs with a raw. Used to fix mustard with raw eggs. The yellow yolk would go down below, and the yolk would stay on top im hapsoles with the refuse. This chacham allowed where it was already placed in the sieve from before Shabbos. Put that egg there on Shabbos in order to fix the countenance of the mustard. I guess it looks more yellow. As long as it's a bor, that which yolks the white stays with the refuse. I feel even when you think we regard the white and the yolk as two different types, it's only coming to fix the way it looks. Especially because it's one min. The Mishabura seems to think it's 2 min, but Arukh HaShulchan says 1 min. One min, there's no brera. And the come nevertheless, if you're straining to eat the egg itself, you can consider the white to be refuse. Because it's not suitable to eat as it is raw. I do not know that the yolk is more suitable to eat raw than the white. But in any event, therefore definitely to break an egg and to separate the white, eat the yolk, it looks like true borer. But with mustard, and the other food stuff, only using the yolk for the color anyway. It's not considered brera. Never be a dying mamish with one's own hands. In other words, actively. You can't separate the yolk from the white from the yolk. No snow, the talk is a davar. When you put it inside something, we mail and on its own, the white separates from the yolk with zaytiru. With this they allowed. We only need the yolk for the color. It's a little bit confusing, but that's what it is. It says in brackets, Ken Yerel, was likely within them, the Ramba, I'm going to call design. Much closer to Tasik, and basically, I mean, Ochel Echot Shach that which Taz wrote that there even one type is Brera. Fanid Chudvov, he's been rejected. Gam Diver Agraz, also from the Shulchan Harav, Nirch Mashsav, Ein Sham Viduk. Lamates, Kasavar Rambam Pergov, Zayin Din Vav. Chenokeh Cholov, somebody takes milk. Vanessa Bokem puts in a little bit of the intestine of an animal, in order to make a cheese. There's derivative of boresh, because when you make cheese, you separate the whey from the milk. So I guess that's an early stage. If you leave it there and it becomes actual cheese, then you're chai because of construction. Because somebody who puts together pieces, parts, the dovak, hakol, and glues it all together. And she asks until they become like one body, raise the bin, it's like building akal lashana. Chenkos per ches and soti rolled in the 8th parak, the mechabitz, how it all those borer. Mechabitz is when you squeeze out the whey from the clump of cheese. So first Gemara, this is explicit Gemara, because around per chafav something is zayv zel lashana. Chen mechabitz hulas borer, who mechabitz is also borer. Fichol therefore albi shenosim shum shim begozim ledvash. So even though you put sesame and nuts into honey, lo yechavtzem biyado. I guess when you can't squeeze out the honey with your hand, I guess you're glazing these nuts, and you can't. You want to take away the honey, you can't take away the honey with your hand. Tosefta says that the chiyuv of, not sure sorry about, I think cheese making seems is because of kneading, which actually is Yerushalmi as well. It says chavz of lush. Rashi besh mechabitz. What is mechabitz? Shows it can mean kli. If you put and make like a vessel, kli gemi, make like a hempen vessel. Those are covered talking. You put the mass inside it. And the whey drips out. But even Rambam and going Hollander. Okay, the Rambam is talking about Holland cheese. The Rashi is Shuta Shalano. Rashi our simple cheese. I don't know the difference. They're both borek for Rabbiano Zeb Siv Gimel. Test. Also, take shmolim b'mashke. They're not allowed to put dregs into a beverage in order to preserve it. I'll be sure the shows of Shabbos, even though you can drink on Shabbos, they can yarding gam shimrei amashke atzmo l'shulei hakli, because that way the dregs of the beverage itself go down to the bottom of the vessel. It's like squeezing out. I'm not sure I understand the scenario. Based on the whole is borrowed, this is during the borrow. Any of the lano maze. Oh, I'm in good company. I was looking for Amir. Arukh says, I don't know what it is. I'm hach the shulchan. Also lesson. Because it's massive. I'm hach the shulchan because it's vash. Come get looking down maze. Okay, we also don't know about what that is either from the previous if. Mem Aleph, Risi Mishkas Lashon is there. So some wrote as follows. Kotzaram Per Chafav. Also, close on Mishmeres now to hang the strainer. There Shlosa B'chol. I do a weekday Shem Level Shamer because it might come to strain. Ad Kan Lashon. Masha feel Los Badavar Achras of Luson. So sorry now allowed to hang it up to put in bananas. Pshara Gemara Poskin Masha and it's a doesn't see the Pshara Gemara. Then you do a Shemash Mos. I don't know what the Rambam means. But as Rabbi, the Hedia. Unreached. Oh no! So I don't know what they mean that the mashmos of the Gemara is differently. Either the hedium will reach tonish asim rabban closer shlei asek der chushul b'chol. Also b'chol, you're not allowed to hang up a strainer. Evidently they hung doors up somehow because it's uvda l'chol. Me'afli atzmo uvda l'chol. The hang itself is uvda l'chol. I'll be shkamos le'bacheh. You want to put bananas in it. The Mishnah actually says to hang the mishmeres over some peg without a vessel underneath it to catch anything is mutter, I guess, because it doesn't have a law look like a borer or a kli for borer. Members, kasar ben Rama b'sof Simon zeh harokik beruach b'Shabbos. The ruach m'vazes harok. Somebody who spits into the wind on Shabbos and the wind scatters the saliva. Chai mishum zoreh. He's chai because of zoreh. Winnowing. Akan l'shono. Yerushalmi kal gadol shom shom rakak v'vrich ruach. If you spit and the wind wafts it, because of Zorah and Sham. Milsa to me, this is astonishing. It doesn't need this separation. The secret and is perhaps secret, but it's no nichole. It should be exempt. Much because of the simulation base. For my eons real is that. Besides, what does real have to do with this? Bizreal yesh bir ochel solas. When you're winnowing, there's ochel coming out of solas. Can't cool up solas. Here all the saliva is solas. It seems it's a mistake. So Zorik. Komar, meaning arba amos. When the wind scatters it 4 amos, that is Zorik, which is Sarabim, and that's where you chayiv.